All right, hey, how's it going? So right now what we're going to talk about is how to properly tune a drum. We're going to start at the bottom head and we're going to tune up the bottom, then we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the top. If you haven't watched the video on how to change a drum head, then press pause, go back, find the video of how to change a drum head, because that's going to give you some pretty important information that'll set you up for success on how to tune. So with that, what I've done is I've loosened the head all the way loose till all the lugs are just finger tight. So I've got lots of wrinkles. If you see when I push down on the drum in the center, there's lots of wrinkles. That's how you know that the head is super loose. Now what I'm going to do is, once they're finger tight like this, I'm just going to push down in the center. While I'm pushing down, it's really helpful if you have a good light source on there so you can kind of get and look and see the wrinkles. And I'm just going to tighten until the wrinkle goes away. I'm going to follow the same pattern that we did when we changed our drum head. I'm just getting the wrinkles to go away, and I'm looking across and I'm feeling and just getting the wrinkles to go away. And the last lug here. Boom. So now the wrinkles are gone. So now I know that my drum head is as loose as it can possibly go without completely flubbing out on me. Now this is an important note to make. This drum shell, it resonates a specific frequency. Some drum companies like DW and I think a couple others, they actually find out what this note is in the, in the factory, and they stamp the inside of the shell, oh, this is a C sharp or a B flat. Whether it's stamped at a factory or not, it doesn't matter. The drum does have a note to it. And so this technique that I'm going to show you on how to tune a drum, what it's going to do is it's going to allow the head to work very well with the shell so that the drum is happy and it's resonating at the same note that the shell wants to resonate, because after all, it is wood and wood resonates. It's very musical that way. So just something to remember, if you want a bigger tom sound and you're trying to get it out of a smaller tom, but you're just tuning it down lower than the shell wants to resonate at, it's going to come to some point where if you want a bigger tom sound, just go get a bigger tom, because you're not going to be able to do it. Same thing with a snare. If you want a big, fat, deep snare drum sound, go buy a big, fat, deep snare drum. Don't make the mistake of tuning improperly to try and get the sound out of a drum that it's not giving you. You want to just do this type of tuning so that the drum is happy. And if you're not happy with how that sounds, then you need to get a different drum. So we're going to try and bring the best that this drum can sound out. And that's what we're going to do today. So now that the wrinkles are all gone, I'm just going to tap around, and you'll notice that I have the tom sitting on top of the drum throne. And I do this on purpose because not only can I spin the drum, but also it mutes the other head. So I'm going to tap this head, and you're not going to hear any resonation from the bottom. So I'm just listening to the top head. There's a couple ways to do this. You can take your drum key and you can just tap along the head. And I'm listening for the note that is resonating. Sometimes I'll even put my hand on here so I can really just hear. And I can hear like almost a musical song that these lugs are playing as I hit them. Another great method, especially if you don't want to mark up your drum head or you're really worried about, well, was that lug higher pitched or did I just hit it differently? And a great way to combat that is to take your finger and right about at your middle knuckle, you want to hit the edge of the drum where you're actually doing like a rim shot with your finger, and it lets you know that you're hitting the drum consistently every time, and you can so I can hear all sorts of different noise, tones there. So what we want to try and do is find kind of where the common tone wants to be. I'll find, and it takes some, getting used to, but you'll find out which ones are too low and which one might be too high. You want to find the middle of the road before you get into it having wrinkles. So I'm just gonna kind of go through the tom. So this one seems really low to me, so I'm just gonna, and these are like quarter turns that I'm doing here. These are not big turns. That one seems high, but let me listen to some other ones. Sometimes I'll do this and compare. Ooh, and a lot of times you'll hear it all of a sudden go from a wobbly sound to a very smooth note. And that's how you know you're kind of getting to its happy spot. Okay, that one's a little low. And I'm actually listening with my ear, pretending like my ear is the microphone, because this is kind of a side note, but there's kind of two ways that you can get a drum to sound great. One, it just acoustically sounds great, and you're playing the kit and you're sitting behind it and it sounds good. But if your drum kit's gonna be mic'd, it not only needs to sound good acoustically, but you have to know what that microphone is gonna be hearing. What is it going to be picking up? And as you know, a microphone's gonna be right next to the head, so your ear is just a perfect microphone. So a lot of times I'll hit the drum, I'll just put my ear right to the drum, and I'll listen to what it sounds like. And something might pop out, something might not, but it's just a good little practice I'll do sometimes. So I'm just gonna keep going. That one's a little high, so I'm gonna loosen it. Sometimes it helps if you do a lot of small, fast taps, because if you're doing it fast, you can kind of hear the pitch go up and down a little bit easier. Yeah, see, that was a lot easier for me to tell. Getting closer. Okay, that's pretty close. So I'm gonna leave that there for a second. I'm gonna give it some time to kind of rest. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to the top. Make sure I'm finger tight. Gonna push down, look at those wrinkles. Gonna tighten until the wrinkles are gone. Across, over, across. Just getting those wrinkles gone. I'm gonna look across the head. Yeah, looks like there's still a little bit of wrinkle here. So just a little quarter turn here now. Okay, now that I've got all the wrinkles, and you can feel for it too. You can push and see whether you feel a wobble. Sometimes these rims are inconsistent. So it might feel like one is way tighter than another. All the lugs feeling the same tightness does not mean that your drum is in tune. That could just be an inconsistency on the head, the shell, or even the rim. You might have a bent rim. So it's all about getting the head consistent tension, not necessarily the lugs. I'm not saying that is a good thing, but that might be your world. So just pay attention. Is the head evenly tensioned? So anyway, so now that I've gotten those, I'm going to start tapping away and see and listen. This one's a little low. That one might be a little high. Sometimes if you loosen one or raise one, it'll affect another one, and you might be thinking one's too low, but it's that the other one is too high. So you gotta kind of just keep tapping around until they're all happy playing with each other. pretty close. So now before I'm ready to hit this thing, I'm just gonna listen to the bottom head again, kind of almost just memorizing what that last head sounded like. Found a little. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this with a stick, and I'm pretty confident to say that it's gonna sound big, full, and deep. And it's going to sound a lot deeper than you would think a 12-inch would sound, but it's not going to be unnatural because of the method we're doing. We're really letting this, this shell resonate. A real nice tone, actually. Now, if you find that what I'm going for is that the note that the drum is putting out, the dum, I want one long consistent note. This is where it comes to preference when it comes to the bottom head. You may like it that the note actually dips down, dum. That's okay, or you may like it to be consistent. That's all going to come from the bottom head. If you find that your note is drifting down and you don't want that, that means that as you hit the batter head or the top head, then that resonant head or the bottom head is actually a little bit looser. So as the first initial attack goes and creates that note, the bottom head that's resonating is lower, so it makes that note pitch down. This matters. What you just did, you spent a little bit of time putting on this drum head, but you'll want to use the same techniques even when the drum is on the kit, and let's say you don't have time to take it off. Listen to the bottom head, tap the bottom of it, listen for it. If you can, by all means, take the drum off its stand, flip it upside down, make sure the bottom head is good, then flip it back, then put it back on its mount and check the top. But don't make this mistake. Don't hit the tom and go, oh, it sounds too loose. I'm just gonna start tightening up some stuff. Because what you're doing is you're just doing it wrong. You need to make sure that, is it too low because there's just one lug that is too loose? Or is it that all of them are too loose? Is it in tune, quote unquote, but too low? That's all things. So you really want to use those tap techniques. You want to look and feel for wrinkles. Just remember, wrinkle is bad. But just above wrinkle, that's the sweet spot. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you've taken a little bit. Feel free to please share it. Practice. You won't get perfect with this overnight, but I think you'll find if you just follow these techniques, your drums will sound great very quickly, and pretty soon you're going to be showing other people how to tune their drums.